It's time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Solange Mougin. Solange, great to see you. You're starting out with the state of French museums, but you're kicking things off with the Louvre.
Yes, mais oui, bien sûr, but of course, because the Louvre is one of Paris's crown jewels of museums of sorts. The Louvre is the most visited museum in the world. In 2023, it welcomed 8.9 million visitors, which is 14% more than the year before. Now, that figure is not the highest ever, though, which was over 10 million in 2018. But the Louvre has decided not to continue with this sort of records race since 2023. It's had a cap on ticket sales, and it's continuing with this cap in advance of the Olympic tourism rush.
Il y a la volonté aussi de la nouvelle présidente Laurence Descartes de vouloir accueillir des publics de façon plus saine, plus sereine en tout cas, et donc de limiter à 30 000 visiteurs par jour la jauge du Louvre. Donc ça a un coût.
Given the Olympics are around the corner, the Louvre has raised prices.
Yeah, after 7 years of no price increases, the price jumped by nearly 30% as of January 2024, from 17 to 22 euros. And the hike has been met with some mixed reviews from tourists who actually make up some 68% of its visitors.
It's a lot of money, especially if we go a few days, need a few days to get here. But yeah, I think it's worth it.
Now, amidst criticism that the hike will deter French visitors, who already only make up 32%, the Louvre has responded that over half of its French visitors are actually admitted for free. This is thanks to their age, their status, profession, as well as once a month free Friday nights. It's a program they have. It's also actually important to note that most of the running costs of the Louvre actually do not come from ticket sales, but from state funds, donations, and endowments as well.
Now, the Louvre isn't the only museum to have hiked its prices, but this has also raised the question of what is too expensive.
Well, France is a nation that strongly pushes for culture to be accessible to all. This shows in the hefty Ministry of Culture budget of 11 billion euros, even if it is important to note as well that cuts of hundreds of millions have been announced. Now, specifically in regard to museums, France's 2002 law that defines their rules, it states that entry must be in favor of as large a public as possible. And for many French, their museums are a precious heritage.
Il faut faire découvrir à nos enfants toute la culture française.
Le cinéma, c'est de la distraction. Puis c'est cher aussi. C'est à peu près le même prix, donc là au moins on est là toute l'après-midi.
Now, the Culture Ministry actually commissioned a study on what is too expensive. In 2019, it found that 44% of the French people it polled had decided not to visit a museum because of the cost. And some, 82% of them, said that for them, there is actually a psychological cap, a ceiling of sorts of 10 euros.
Now, Solange, the question of whether museums should be free in France is often debated in this country.
Yeah, it is, with the right balance being a tricky one for museums. They seek to remain accessible while also juggling a decrease in state funding and a push to be profitable in some cases. Alongside this, there's higher energy costs, building restorations, inflation, sometimes striking workers, and the need to renew collections. Now, for some people, free admission or free days, like the first Sunday of the month being free, and even free events like Nuit Blanche or White Night and the Night of the Museum, a European program, they remain the right path forward.
Dimanche gratuit est une manière aussi d'offrir à tous la possibilité de venir au musée.
Some argue, however, that a free ticket actually lowers the perceived value. Others say that museums already favor the rich and that tax dollars should be used elsewhere. Beyond the price of the question of price, though, France's over 1,200 museums and its some 10,000 exhibit spaces, well, they have a common a goal of sorts for visitors to learn, to experience culture, and to enjoy themselves, which brings us to our word du jour, s'amuser au musée, or to have fun at the museum. And both words actually have the common root of muse, referring, of course, to the ancient Greek goddesses.
Now, Solange, museums in France have been faced with certain challenges of late.
Yeah, many museums have actually had to increase security for a number of reasons, from theft, bigger crowds, to bomb threats, which even temporarily closed some major monuments in France, like
Tins of
the
soup
Louvre.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. There's also continued cases of activists seeking to raise awareness about their causes.
Très récemment, en fait, c'est de consigner en fait tout ce qui est produit, alors pas liquide, mais à base de sauce tomate ou de confiture.
Now, Solange, another trend which some people may find annoying is online reservation systems.
Yeah, reserving a ticket, sometimes even months in advance. Well, it's increasingly become de rigueur, or a must, especially here in Paris. This is much to the frustration of flâneurs or
But
strollers.
this is something that only happened after COVID.
Exactly. We got used to reserving, and it became something that people do more often now. So it is quite frustrating to people who just want to flâne, who just want to stroll through Paris.
Il n'y a rien de spontané. C'est dommage. On enlève la magie.
Je trouve que c'est assez triste qu'on doive réserver pour tout.
Solange, there are still some museums where reservations are needed.
Yeah, smaller museums really are the ticket here. Doing the research for the show, I found that there are some pretty zany museums all across France.
Il a voulu inventer des machines qui n'avaient jamais été inventées, combler des vides de l'histoire. Le sèche-larmes pour sécher nos larmes.
Now, France has hundreds of lesser-known museums, and many of them are insolite or quirky. So if you can't get into the Louvre, there's always a plethora of sometimes quite bizarre and quite enchanting places to visit.
We can always get in. Thank you very much for that, Solange. Solange Mougin there with French Connections. And if you want to check out other editions of the show, you can head to our website, france24.com.